Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Prasar Bharati. Coming up in the next hour. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will inaugurate post-earthquake reconstruction projects built with India's assistance in Nepal's Kathmandu. Bangladesh's main opposition party BNP holds nationwide processions and mass campaigns ahead of the 7th January election. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on West Asia visit to seek immediate increase in Gaza aid, also to discuss on efforts to release remaining hostages. In cricket, Indian women team to face Australia in first T20 of the 3-match T20 series at Mumbai today. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will inaugurate 59 post-earthquake reconstruction projects in the education, health and culture sectors, including the new building of the Tribhuvan University Central Library, which have been built with Government of India's grant assistance. On the first day of his 2-day visit to the Himalayan nation, Dr. Jaishankar on Thursday announced that the Indian government will provide a financial assistance package of approximately $7.5 million to Nepal to provide further support following the recent earthquake in Jajarkot. Enhancing religious and cultural ties with Nepal, India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar visited Pashupatinath Temple in Kathmandu on Friday morning. Dr. Jaishankar offered prayers at the revered temple. The minister later on a social media post said, "Blessed to visit the Pashupatinath temple today morning, prayed for the well-being of our two people and India-Nepal ties." He also planted Rudraksh saplings to support mission life and encourage putting India's efforts into preventing damage from climate change. Dr. Jaishankar is on a 2-day visit to the Himalayan Republic. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar called on President Ramachandra Paudil and Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachand of Nepal in Kathmandu. He also co-chaired the 7th meeting of the Nepal-India Joint Commission.
India's External Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar co-chaired the 7th India-Nepal Joint Commission in Kathmandu along with his Nepalese counterpart NP Saud during his 2-day visit to Nepal. 2 agreements were signed on the occasion. One was on India committing to export 10,000 megawatts of electricity to Nepal over the next 10 years. The other agreement was related to promoting Indian investments in high-impact community development projects in Nepal. The agreements were signed by officials from both sides in the presence of Nepal's Minister for Energy, Water Resources and Irrigation, Shakti Bahadur Basnet. Minister Jaishankar called on President and Prime Minister of Nepal before the Joint Commission met. He also met with the Nepali Congress Party leader Sher Bahadur Doeba and CPN UML chief KP Sharma Oli. India's ties with Nepal straddles diverse areas from economy to education and defense to development. India supplies equipment to and trains the Nepali army. India is a first responder during natural disasters in Nepal. India rushed personnel and relief material to Nepal after the 2015 earthquake. India has upgraded roads and other infrastructure such as checkpoints on Nepal border. India is Nepal's largest trading partner. India provides 3,000 scholarships annually to Nepalese nationals. The Joint Commission was established in 1987. It is a platform for the foreign ministers to review the bilateral relationship. Nepal is a priority partner of India under its Neighbourhood First policy. With inputs from Shweta Singh in Kathmandu, Bureau Report, DD India.
India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar interacted with Nepal cricket team in Kathmandu during his 2-day visit to the Himalayan Republic. As part of cricket diplomacy, New Delhi has supported development of cricket in Afghanistan, Maldives by training of their cricketers. Election campaigning for the 12th general election in Bangladesh ends on Friday. Polling in 299 constituencies will take place from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. on January 7. The government has imposed a 24-hour ban on the plying of taxi cabs, pickup vans, microbuses and trucks starting from midnight on Saturday in preparation for the parliamentary elections on Sunday. Well, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party is taking out processions and conduct nationwide mass contact on Friday to protest against the holding of the 12th parliamentary election on 7th of January. The BNP has also called a countrywide strike from Saturday to Monday as part of its movement to boycott the election. Since October 28th, this is the 13th phase of strike or hartal called by Bangladesh Nationalist Party. There's a heavy deployment of security forces across the country to avoid law and order crisis due to strike. The BNP is the major opposition party in Bangladesh. The BNP and its allies are boycotting the election, alleging that a free and fair election is not possible under the current government. 1,970 candidates are vying for 300 seats, including 90 women and 79 candidates from religious and ethnic minorities. Well, the BNP is saying that under the current government, fair and free elections are not possible. And BNP holds the processions to protest January 7 polls. The country gears up for 12th parliamentary elections and BNP calls countrywide strike from Saturday. A Pakistan High Court on Thursday restored 10-year disqualification for a convict under the anti-corruption laws by rescinding its earlier ruling to reduce it to 5 years now. The court order, which cleared the confusion regarding the tenure of disqualification, is likely to have an impact on various cases filed by politicians, including two former prime ministers, Imran Khan and Nawaz Sharif, ahead of February 8 general elections. The National Accountability Ordinance, or NAO, of 1999 provided 10-year disqualification for a person convicted of corruption. But a single bench of the Islamabad High Court reduced it to 5 years by previous government headed by Shehbaz Sharif. The younger brother of Nawaz Sharif mandated a maximum 5-year period of disqualification, apparently providing relief to every convict. And North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has called for boosting production of various missile launch vehicles, calling it an important task to prepare for a military showdown with the enemy. Kim Jong-un visited a transporter erector launcher manufacturing factory on Friday and said that producing various vehicles for tactical and strategic weapons was a key task in bolstering the nuclear war deterrent of the country. Japan will work with the US military to intensify the earthquake relief operations. The deadly earthquake that took place on Monday have already claimed the lives of 84 people so far. Rescuers have pressed in on search for survivors as a 3-day survival window ended on Thursday afternoon. According to emergency responders, survival rates drop off 72 hours after a quake. And as per the authorities, 156 people have been rescued so far, but at least 179 others remain unaccounted for. Staff at Tokyo's Haneda Airport have started to remove the charred wreckage of Japan Airlines plane from a runway after the deadly collision that took place earlier this week. Investigations to determine the cause of the incident are underway as the United States will provide its assistance to Japan in reading of airplane recorders. According to National Transportation Safety Board Chair Jennifer Homendy, Japan had sought assistance with the Honeywell manufactured recorders. But it is unclear if the recorders will be brought to Washington for analysis or if NTSB personnel will travel to Japan to offer support. All right, and Ukraine said on Thursday its air force conducted a strike on a Russian command post near the Crimean port city of Sevastopol and hit a military unit in a separate strike on the Crimean Peninsula. Russians said its forces had destroyed 10 incoming missiles over the peninsula. Russia's defense ministry reported the downing of 36 Ukrainian drones over Crimea. Ukraine said a Russian command post had been hit near Sevastopol. Ukraine has stepped up its attack on the Crimean Peninsula, which was seized by annexed by Moscow in 2014, seeking to destroy Russian military capabilities and force its fleet to pull back from the Black Sea. An update now on Russia-Ukraine conflict. 2 people were injured in Russia's Belgorod region as Russian air defense system downed 10 airborne targets late on Thursday, according to the local authorities. Belgorod region governor said the targets were downed as they approached the city. 2 people were being treated in hospital for injuries. He said windows were blown out in a multi-story apartment building and at least 30 cars sustained damage. Ukraine launched missile and drone attacks on Wednesday on Belgorod region, local officials said. Russia said 25 civilians, including 5 children, were killed in attacks last weekend. And North Korea recently provided Russia with ballistic missiles and launchers for use in Moscow's war against Ukraine, the White House confirmed on Thursday, calling North Korea's arms transfer to Russia a significant and concerning escalation. National Security spokesperson John Kirby told reporters the United States will raise the development with the United Nations Security Council.
Our information indicates that the Democratic People's Republic of Korea recently provided Russia with ballistic missile launchers and several ballistic missiles. This is a significant and concerning escalation in the DPRK's support for Russia. We will raise these arms deals at the UN Security Council alongside our allies and partners, and we will demand that Russia be held accountable for, yet again, violating its international obligations.
Britain condemned on Thursday Russia's decision to use ballistic missiles sourced from North Korea in recent attacks against Ukraine. A UK Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Office spokesperson said in a statement that London urges Pyongyang to cease its arms supply to Russia. Moreover, the activity violates a number of UN Security Council resolutions, which Russia supported as a permanent member, according to the spokesperson. North Korea is subject to a robust sanctions regime, and Britain will continue to work with its partners to ensure that North Korea pays a high price for supporting Russia's illegal war in Ukraine, the spokesperson added. And still to come on DD India News Hour. Floods hit several countries across Europe. Stay with us to know more. Former Guatemalan President Otto Perez now under house arrest after being imprisoned since 2015 on a corruption conviction. Britain's Royal Mail unveils commemorative stamp collection of 90s pop group The Spice Girls on the band's anniversary.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है।
कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangari temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार संस्कृति मठ से मंदिर से साधु से संत से ऋषि से मुनि से महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
Why is China usurping Bhutanese land? I connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots every Friday at 8 p.m. IST on DD India.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. land of possibilities, teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. Election campaigning for the 12th general election in Bangladesh ends on Friday. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party, meanwhile, is taking out processions and conduct nationwide mass contact on Friday to protest against Sunday's general election. And DD India correspondent Naval Sangh Parmar joins us from Dhaka for more. Naval Sangh, how does the BNP plan to conduct the nationwide mass contact, and what is the expected scale of these activities?
Yes, this is the 13th phase of blockade or hartal or procession given by the BNP, the main opposition party in Bangladesh, Bangladesh Nationalist Party. And BNP has boycotted elections since the announcement of election by the Election Commission of Bangladesh.
Okay.
And this program, particularly today, they are taking out the procession in the street of Bangladesh across the country. And that is to convince people not to go for voting.
Okay.
And they will conduct a mass contact movement in this today. And from tomorrow, they called for hartal across Bangladesh from tomorrow morning to Monday morning. And as you know, that voting is on this Sunday, 7th January. So BNP trying to convince people to be abstained from the voting, and that is the agenda of BNP.
Okay. Naval Sangh, now can you just update on the processions which the BNP is taking out? Are they still happening? And, you know, what is the duration, on what time particularly the processions are being taken out by the BNP? And you know, can you just tell us about the impact of these processions which are being taken out by the main opposition party?
Actually, on 28th October, they took out the mass rally in street of Dhaka. And after that, they given subsequent many blockade program in Bangladesh across the country. So over a period of time, now people are fed up with this kind of blockade and the procession and the mass movement in the Bangladesh. And at the same time, the current government or the election commission here in Bangladesh deployed heavy security forces across the country. So due to the presence of security forces and the police and the rapid action battalion, BGB, there is a least impact of this kind of procession or the blockade or hartal.
Okay. Naval Sangh, now, what kind of impact does the BNP anticipate from the countrywide strike, which they have scheduled from Saturday to Monday?
Definitely, there will be impact on the voting here in Bangladesh. But if you are not giving a positive program to the people, and at the same time, there are some people who will not go for voting, but at the same time, people will try to cast their vote and they will try to participate in the democratic process of the country. And this is the consecutive third term since this Awami League Sheikh Hasina led Awami League is on power, and this is fourth term they are seeking by this election.
Okay, and Naval Sangh, now can you just update us a bit on what the law says there in Bangladesh right now? Is it allowed to take out processions when you have elections on the cards?
Yes, I'm not sure, or I'm not having a perfect or up to the you can say the perfect information about that. But it is my assumption is that it should not be, or it will not be allowed according to the this law of the land. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for giving us those details.
Thank you.
And U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is visiting West Asia on a week-long tour. This is his fourth visit since the Israel-Hamas conflict. During his visit, Blinken will visit Israel and the West Bank, as well as Turkey, Greece, Jordan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and Egypt.
Over the course of the next week, the Secretary will visit Turkey, Greece, Jordan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Israel, the West Bank, and Egypt for meetings with foreign counterparts and others. The Secretary will focus on a number of critical issues on this trip. First, he will discuss immediate measures to increase substantially humanitarian assistance to Gaza. The United States has played a critical role in unlocking humanitarian assistance for the Palestinian people, but conditions remain extremely difficult. The Secretary will stress the imperative of expanding and sustaining safe access for humanitarian organizations to deliver food, water, medicine, as well as for commercial goods to enter all areas of Gaza.
Houthis' recent attacks on cargo vessels in Red Sea shipping lanes have drawn international condemnation. British Foreign Secretary David Cameron on Thursday said that if Houthis does put an end on the attacks, international action will be taken. Several countries, including Britain and the United States, have issued a joint statement on Wednesday, warning that there would be consequences to any further attacks.
Well, I'm not going to spell out here what action will be taken, but it's quite clear to me this is unacceptable, this is illegal, it's not to do with Gaza, it's not to do with Israel, this is about the freedom of navigation, this is about the ability of ships to carry their cargo. The world economy, every economy, will suffer if ships keep coming under attack in this illegal and unacceptable way. And these attacks need to stop or actions will be taken.
All right, and former Guatemalan President Otto Perez entered house arrest after being imprisoned since 2015 on a corruption conviction. Perez governed the Central American nation from 2012 until 2015, when he was forced to resign with just 4 months left in his term amid protests over graft scandals. Perez was sentenced to 16 years in prison in 2022 on charges of illicit association and customs fraud. Perez was sentenced to another 8 years in prison last year on money laundering and fraud charges in a separate case. All right, weather updates now. A heavy rainstorm in central England caused a major river to burst its banks, turning fields into swamps on Thursday. Earlier, River Trent water levels split into homes and roads after Storm Henk struck the area. The Northamptonshire authorities declared it as a major incident. Parts of Derbyshire and neighbouring county were also flooded. As parts of northwestern Europe struggle to cope with the impact of Atlantic storms, the floodwaters submerged streets and houses in northern France on Thursday. As floods has dumped rain on already saturated ground. Hundreds have been evacuated since the flooding in the North French department of Pas-de-Calais. Drone images showed houses and town halls surrounded by flooding in the town of Arques. A red alert indicated that the River A was close to breaking its banks and flooded fields in the town of Westerhem. Rivers in the north of France have been on alert since late December 2023. All right, Belgium train services from Brussels to Luxembourg were suspended on Thursday due to flooding threatening a rail bridge as the country experienced high water levels for a third day. Amid the bridge safety checking, the passengers were advised to use a replacement bus between Marbehen and Libramont until this weekend. Heavy rains caused flooding in Belgium. The southern provincial government of Wallonia maintained flood warnings for some rivers. Also, there was an alert for River Samoa, which burst its bank in the town of Boulogne near the French border, and some riverside buildings were flooded. All right, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar is speaking at Kathmandu. Let's take you across there.
The government of India has funded a project for the construction of 50,000 houses that were completed in November 2021. I'm happy to know that today's handing over of 25 schools and the inauguration of this very prestigious library, all the 71 projects being undertaken with reconstruction grant in the education sector have been completed and handed over to the government of Nepal. I deeply appreciate the partnership of the two governments and recognize the efforts of all the concerned agencies of the government of Nepal in this regard. I hope that other projects will also be completed soon and put to use at the earliest. Friends, like the rest of the world, we were saddened to learn of the casualties and devastation caused by the earthquake that struck the western parts of Nepal in November last year. Prime Minister Narendra Modi had expressed solidarity with the people and leadership of Nepal and had committed to extend all possible assistance. In line with this commitment, the Government of India started providing emergency relief in less than 48 hours after the earthquake. 5 tranches of such relief have already been supplied to the earthquake-affected people, including one consisting of essential requirements and prefabricated houses, which were handed over yesterday to the people in the earthquake-affected districts. I also communicated yesterday to Prime Minister Prachandji our decision to extend a financial package of Nepalese rupees 1,000 crore, that is $75 million, for the reconstruction of infrastructure in these affected districts. We shall continue to stand by the people of Nepal and contribute to the efforts of the government of Nepal in this regard. Friends, in recent years, we have witnessed the real transformation of the India-Nepal relationship, with significant strides made in a variety of areas. This partnership has expanded multifold, and connectivity, be it physical, digital, or energy-related, has become a cornerstone of this expanding collaboration. And this has further strengthened the people-to-people linkages between our two countries. During my visit this time, we have signed some really important agreements, both in the areas of power sector cooperation as well as project implementation. And I am very confident that these will positively impact the lives of the ordinary person in Nepal. Our development cooperation has also been bolstered by educational and capacity building initiatives in various sectors, including a large number of scholarships in premier educational institutions in India as well as in Nepal itself, to encourage the brightest students here to continue their studies. Our youth are particularly powerful agents of growth and development in both societies, and also important ambassadors of the relationship between us. Our collaboration and initiatives in promoting our youth by providing educational opportunities and also by making good educational infrastructure like this library building available to them will only empower them in the positive transformation of both countries. I assure you that we are committed to extending our steadfast support and work with the same earnestness to further realize the potential of the relationship for the full benefit of the people of the two countries. Under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, the Government of India is committed to continue redefining its relationship with partners in our neighborhood, especially with Nepal. I remember that during his visit to Nepal in 2014, Prime Minister Modi had given the HIT formula for India-Nepal relations. HIT as in H for highways, I for highways, and T for transways. And during the visit of Prime Minister Prachand to India in June, both leaders took the important decision to make our partnership a super hit now. The Government of India is committed to move forward on the ideals of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas, and take the friendly neighboring countries, including Nepal, along with us in our development journey. Together, we will continue to cross more and more milestones in our relationship in the days to come. With this, I conclude my remarks and I underline how successful this visit has been, and I thank you, Foreign Minister Saud, and your colleagues in the government for all your efforts in taking our partnership to new heights. Allow me to take this opportunity to convey to the university, to all the academics, to the students, and to the people of Nepal, my best wishes as we begin the new year. Thank you very much, and namaskar.
And that was India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, who was speaking in Kathmandu after inaugurating New Tribhuvan University Central Library Building and other post-earthquake construction projects being undertaken with the Indian assistance in Kathmandu. India is following the Neighbourhood First policy, and Dr. S. Jaishankar is there on a two-day visit to strengthen ties between the two countries. And still to come on DD India News Hour. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit northwestern Indian city of Jaipur to chair a conference of country's police chiefs. Temperature in India's capital drops by 7 to 8 degrees. No respite from cold wave over the next 3 days in several parts of the country. And toy exports from India increased 239% over last 8 years.
Why is China usurping Bhutanese land? I connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots every Friday at 8 p.m. IST.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I am Siddharth Bharadwaj, and let's have a look at the headlines once again. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar inaugurates post-earthquake reconstruction projects built with India's assistance in Nepal's Kathmandu. Bangladesh's main opposition party BNP plans to hold nationwide processions and mass campaigns ahead of the 7th of January elections. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken on West Asia visit to seek immediate increase in Gaza aid, also to discuss on efforts to release remaining hostages. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be on a 3-day visit to Pink City, Jaipur in the northwestern state of Rajasthan from Friday for a conference of Directors General and Inspectors General of Police. The Prime Minister will also meet with lawmakers of the ruling BJP and other party members. DD India's Vishal Baristo reports from Jaipur.
The capital city of the Indian state of Rajasthan is all set for the big occasion. During his 3-day visit to Jaipur, Prime Minister Narendra Modi would first address the ruling party BJP's lawmakers and office bearers from Rajasthan. The meeting holds significance in view of the upcoming national parliamentary elections. The BJP wrested the reins of the state from its rival Congress in the recently held state polls.
मोदी जी राजस्थान आ रहे हैं और जयपुर आ रहे हैं। इसकी तैयारियां भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता पूरे शहर को स्वच्छ बनाने के लिए, सुंदर बनाने के लिए, सजाने के लिए सभी अपनी अपनी जिम्मेदारियों के साथ काम में लगे हैं। और आप देख रहे हैं कि किस प्रकार का जोश और उत्साह पूरे राजस्थान के और जयपुर के कार्यकर्ताओं में।
On the second day of his visit, the PM will attend the All India Conference of Director Generals / Inspector Generals of Police at the Rajasthan International Centre. India's Home Minister and National Security Advisor will also be participating in the deliberations.
Rajasthan International Centre here in Jaipur is all prepared for the All India DGs and IGs conference. Prime Minister Narendra Modi would be attending this 3-day conference artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and counterterrorism are some of the issues that would be discussed in this conference.
Security has been tightened throughout the city in view of the high-level meeting. The conference is the culmination of extensive deliberations involving police and intelligence officers from the district to the national levels on identified themes. Vishal Baristo's report, Jaipur, DD India.
Global Times, a Chinese state-run daily, has praised India and asserted that the nation has become more strategically confident and proactive under the Narendra Modi-led government in creating and developing a Bharat narrative. In an opinion piece on Global Times, the article titled, "What I Feel About the Bharat Narrative in India," chalked out India's stunning economic growth, its attitude towards international relations, urban governance and more under leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The author noted that India's domestic and foreign situation have changed tremendously compared to 4 years ago. The article further noted that India is rapidly transforming itself toward a strategy of becoming a pole in the multipolar world. The article concluded that a transformed, stronger and more assertive India has become a new geopolitical factor that many countries need to consider. After paying a surprise visit to the home of Meera Majhi, the 100th million Ujjwala scheme beneficiary, Prime Minister Narendra Modi wrote a letter and also sent gifts to Meera Majhi and her family. The package comprised a delightful tea set, a drawing book filled with a vibrant assortment of colors and other items. In his letter, Prime Minister Modi said, Majhi becoming the 100th million beneficiary of Ujjwala Yojana was not just a number. Rather, it was linked with the fulfillment of big dreams and resolves of millions of people of the country. Majhi had expressed her happiness after meeting Prime Minister Modi and also thanked him for the gifts. The Ujjwala scheme is launched to provide clean cooking fuel such as LPG cylinders to rural and deprived households, which otherwise had been using firewood, coal and cow dung cakes. The Prime Minister made a surprise visit last Saturday to the Ayodhya home of Meera Majhi and had a tea at her residence during his tour of the temple city. And a case study on success story of Made in India toys revealed that the Indian toy industry has registered a rise of 239% in exports in 2022-23 as compared to 2014-15. The report also mentioned that the imports of toys in India have also declined by 52% in the same period. The Government of India has undertaken a series of initiatives, including the formulation of comprehensive plan like the National Action Plan for Toys to promote the Indian toy industry. The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is being undertaken across India with the aim to inform people about the government welfare measures by ensuring that their benefits reach the targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. And also, the Yatra has arrived Gonda in the northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. The local communities responded to it with great enthusiasm and active engagement. On this occasion, several beneficiaries shared their progressive stories under the segment Meri Kahani, Meri Zubani. The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra continues to connect with people and the public welfare schemes in the Sonbhadra district of the North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. The beneficiaries of the schemes believe that the public welfare schemes have not only made their lives easier, but have also provided them the strength to join the mainstream of development. And the maximum temperature in India's capital Delhi dropped by 7 to 8 degrees Celsius. The temperature reaches below the season's normal as the cold weather conditions coupled with dense fog gripped the national capital. Besides, most parts of northern India, including Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana, may see no respite from the cold wave over the next 3 days. According to the India Meteorological Department, dense fog and cold wave conditions to continue at some places in the plains of northwest India and eastern India for the next 2 days. Let's take a look at other stories making news. The pink city of India, Jaipur, in Indian state of Rajasthan, is all decked up ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Union Home Minister Amit Shah's visit to the city to participate in the 58th DGP-IGP National Conference. The 3-day conference will be held at Rajasthan International Centre in city's Jhalana institutional area. Asia's largest brackish water lagoon, Chilika Lake in eastern Indian state of Odisha, received more than 1 million winged guests. Large number of migratory birds seen in the Indian subcontinent. Birds, mostly from Russia and Central Asian countries, visit Chilika Lake every winter to escape the biting cold in their homelands and search of food. They start their homeward journey before the onset of summer. In the Indian state of Chhattisgarh, a tigress gave birth to 2 cubs at Maitri Bagh Zoo 4 months ago, but the information regarding the birth was not disclosed due to security reasons. With the 2 new members, the total number of white tigers in Maitri Bagh Zoo has reached 10. Earlier this year, a white tigress named Raksha also gave birth to 3 cubs at the same zoo. A United States women's hockey team performed the traditional dance of the Indian state of Jharkhand as the team arrives in Ranchi city ahead of the International Hockey Federation Olympic qualifiers. Ahead of the tournament, Hockey India formally signed the Memorandum of Understanding for hosting the incoming FIH Hockey Olympic qualifiers Ranchi 2024 in Jharkhand. The event is one of the 3 Olympic qualifiers happening globally with counterparts in Oman and Valencia. Still to come on DD India News Hour. Asian shares close slightly lower as they struggle to beat New Year blues. In cricket, India pulls off a sensational win in Cape Town, beats South Africa in 2 days to level the series 1-1. And Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi goes snorkeling in Lakshadweep, shares beautiful photos of corals, fish.
We bring to you the legendary city of Ayodhya and tell you what makes Ayodhya everything that has got to do with the land of Lord Ram.
यहाँ रग रग में हर जगह राम ही है। सनातन धर्म के लिए तो गौरव की बात है।
कण कण में भी भगवान राम की सत्ता का एहसास हमें होता है यदि हम लोग ध्यान से उसका अवलोकन करें। आज भी होता है।
This is 10th century old Hanumangari temple.
यहाँ हनुमान जी महाराज राजा के रूप में बैठे हैं। भारत की संस्कार संस्कृति मठ से मंदिर से साधु से संत से ऋषि से मुनि से महात्मा से जुड़ा हुआ है।
ये विष्णु का मस्तक है, तो यहाँ पे हर कण पावन है। यहाँ
Why is China usurping Bhutanese land? I connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots every Friday at 8 p.m. IST on DD India.
India that invents. India that innovates. India that excites. India that invites. Land of possibility. Teeming with opportunities. Watch India Ideas each Thursday, 8 p.m. only on DD India.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj. India's industrial production growth rose to a 16-month high of 11.7% in October 2023 against a contraction of 4.1% in the same period in 2022. Factory output is measured in terms of the index of industrial production. The data released by the National Statistical Office showed that the manufacturing sector's output grew by 10.4% in October 2023, while mining production rose 13.1% in the same period. Goods and services procurement through the government e-market portal is poised to reach 3.5 trillion rupees by the end of this fiscal year. In FY23, the procurement value stood at 2 trillion rupees, surpassing the 1.06 trillion rupees in the previous financial year. In FY24, it is estimated to cross 3.5 trillion rupees. Launched in August 2016, the GEM portal facilitates the online procurement of goods and services for all central government ministries and departments. At present, the portal comprises 133,549 primary buyers, 205,737 secondary buyers, and 11,897 registered product categories. And stocks updates now. Asian equities were shaky under pressure on Friday, failing to beat the New Year blues after US unemployment data indicated that a resilient labor market tempering expectations of Federal Reserve interest rate cuts in 2024. While the Hong Kong Hang Seng slipping to 0.18%, Japan's Nikkei was in focus, bouncing 0.5% on Friday as exporters got a boost from the yen slide back to just about 145% per dollar. Amid a rise in US Treasury yields. Overnight on the Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 0.03%, the S&P 500 lost 0.34%, and the Nasdaq Composite dropped 0.56%. But though the sentiments at most East Asian markets were muted, Indian equity benchmarks traded higher in Friday's early trade, led by gains across all sectors. The BSE Sensex stocks rose 302 points or 0.42% to trade at 72,150. While the NSE Nifty moved 87 points or 0.40% up to trade at 21,746. The other segment, including the mid and small cap shares, were also up as Nifty Mid Cap 100 climbed 0.55% and small cap gained 0.62%. While foreign institutional investors or FIIs brought rupees 15,134.1 million of shares on a net basis during the previous session, while domestic institutional investors or DIIs offloaded rupees 13,873.6 million of stocks, exchange data showed. Among the public sector, stocks power major NTPC was the top gainer in the Nifty pack as the stock jumped 2.08% to trade at rupees 323.7. Auto, telecom and tech stocks also did well. Now, Britain's Royal Mail unveiled a commemorative stamp collection featuring photos of 90s pop group The Spice Girls, marking a historic first-ever issue of stamps about a female pop group. The collection celebrates the 30th anniversary of the group's formation in 1994 and contains images of each member alongside various photos from the band's performances around the world. Calling it girl power, Spice Girls said that they were excited to be celebrated by the Royal Mail. All right, and you're watching DD India News Hour. Time now for sport. And starting from cricket, where India managed to pull off a sensational victory to beat South Africa and wrap up the second and final test match at Cape Town in 2 days. With this victory, India managed to break the jinx and registered its first win in Cape Town and also leveled the two-match series 1-1.
India overcame a first innings batting collapse to level the two-match test series by beating South Africa by 7 wickets at the Newlands Cricket Ground in Cape Town. The match ended in just 5 sessions of play with a total of 107.1 overs bowled, making it the shortest completed test match. Seamer Mohammad Siraj took a career best of 6 wickets for 15 runs as India bundled out South Africa for 55 in their first innings. after Dean Elgar won the toss and elected to bat on a wicket, offering plenty of assistance to the bowlers. In reply to Africa's first innings, India started on a positive note and also took a considerable lead of 98 runs before they lost 6 wickets one after another at the score of 153 for 4 to bundle out in the space of 11 balls without scoring a run, the first time that has happened in Tests. The list of unwanted milestones did not stop there for the visitors, as they had 6 batsmen dismissed for ducks, which equalled the previous record. As many as 23 wickets tumbled on a crazy first day. Premier pacer Jasprit Bumrah then produced a match-changing spell of 6 for 61 in the second innings to halt Proteas at 176 and at a lead of 78 runs. South Africa's Aiden Markram was the lone man fighting in the middle as he slammed a century. Rohit Sharma and company then chased down the 79-run target with ease to register India's first ever win at Cape Town, which also marked Dean Elgar's farewell test match, who scored 4 and 12 in his 2 innings. With this win, Rohit Sharma became just the second Indian skipper after MS Dhoni to avoid a Test series defeat in South Africa. Prior to this series, India had lost 7 and drawn 1 Test series in South Africa since 1992.
Indian women cricket team will take on Australia in the first T20 match of the 3-match series at the D.Y. Patil Stadium in Navi Mumbai today. After a 0-3 hammering by Australia in the T20 I's, the Indian women's cricket team will look to draw inspiration from their test match victory against Australia. This will be the first meeting between the two teams in T20 format since the 2023 T20 World Cup semi-final, where the Australian team beat India by 5 runs to reach the final. Some tennis update now, where unseeded Rafael Nadal cruised into the Brisbane International quarterfinals with a 6-1, 6-2 win against home favourite Jason Kubler of Australia. Number 2 seed Grigor Dimitrov rolled over Germany's Daniel Altmaier 6-1, 6-2. Dimitrov's quarterfinal opponent will be Australia's Rinky. Jordan Thompson advanced in a walkover against number 4 seed Hugo Humbert of France, who withdrew due to illness. Thompson next faces Nadal. In women's tie, Aryna Sabalenka eased through to the quarterfinals with a comprehensive victory over Zulin by 6-1, 6-0. Former French Open champion Helena Ostapenko beat Karolina Pliskova 6-2, 4-6, 6-3. Helena will meet former world number 1 Victoria Azarenka for a place in the last 4. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi tried snorkeling during his recent visit to Lakshadweep. Sharing pictures from the beach, the Prime Minister wrote, "In addition to the scenic beauty, Lakshadweep's tranquility is also mesmerizing." Take a look. All right, and that's all for this edition of DD India News Hour. But let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Siddharth Bharadwaj from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.